All right. So this is part 2 of the Dementia and Down Syndrome family caregiving training. And what this part is going to focus on is just once that individual gets a specific dementia diagnosis. So we'll jump right in. I'll recap last meeting. I just want to thank everyone for the good discussion that we have. I was really encouraged by it. Just being able to have the discussion open safely and just being able to bounce ideas off each other is kind of just the goal that I had, just to kind of create this small community, and hopefully it goes on once my capstone is up as well. So as we dive into this presentation, I want you all to remember what we learned last presentation on how like dementia is affecting the brain, what the person is like losing. That includes like the senses that the person with dementia is losing, such as like their visual field. They no longer have their peripheral vision. They just have that middle field vision. And what their brain kind of processes is just that kind of visual field is the most. And then also, if you had any trouble opening or receiving any of the stuff that I sent out last meeting, please reach out and let me know. I want to make sure everyone can get to that as well. So for this, a little overview of what we'll be talking about today. Again, most of this stuff is going to come from the positive approach to care training that I've received when I worked for a non-medical home care company. What we'll go over, what they have is the positive physical approach, ways to help through supportive and emotional communications, importance of keeping it simple, and then hand under hand approach as well. Hand under hand is something that as an OT I love because it just helps people being able to engage in their daily activities. I'll also go over the GEMS model, which is by Teepa Snow, who created the positive approach to care. It's just another way of just being able to show the function of the brain and the stages of the brain when as dementia affects it. And then we'll talk about tips and specific situations and caregiver burnout tips that I found helpful from the National Down Syndrome Society Alzheimer's and Down Syndrome Guidebook. So first, I just want to set the things to know, like the beliefs around what we need to know as a person with dementia. Remember that the person living with dementia is using what's working at that moment. So that means as a care partner, we need to use our abilities to match and support their abilities. So that whether that be so it's kind of like a dance. You have to learn how to dance with your partner. And so people with dementia, they should be leading the dance and you should be following by supporting them. I know a person who has memory loss and losing function is leading something. Well, yes, we want them to be leading it because it's their life. We want to be able to give them that entitled self awareness that they deserve because they are still a person, and we want to be able to just support what they need so that they're able to feel that way. So by doing that, you're going to have to be a good detective. Be on the lookout for what they like, what kind of sets them off. Use your approach as that screening tool, kind of what we talked about last time, and kind of see what works and what doesn't. And so the sequence that you'll kind of have to do when working with somebody with dementia is that you start with visual, you move to verbal, and then you move to physical. And this is just important because you want to start with visual because, like I said, their brain is just getting so overstimulated and working so hard because parts of it's dying. That physical and chemical change is happening. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Their brain's kind of going to that overload that they're only going to be able to process what they kind of see, and everything else is just going to move so much slower. So you want to start with that visual and then move to verbal, say your names, simple stuff like that. Physical, obviously helping them where they need it. So the first thing that I'll talk about is the positive physical approach. This is from the positive approach to care. I really love this because it kind of talks about just the space that somebody has. So I'll kind of set it up. You have your public, your social, and then your intimate space. So your public space is kind of just everything around you. Your social space is kind of everything 6 feet in, and then obviously your intimate space is probably about a foot to you being physically touched. And so what the positive physical approach does, it just kind of is, it's able to go through these steps listed out here and kind of help a person with dementia being able to process better. You're kind of staying in that visual field. And then by the time you're next to them and supporting them, you're feeling supported, or they're feeling supported, and they feel better. So what it kind of looks like, and this is where I wish we were in person and not on Zoom because it's kind of difficult, but I'll do my best. So you pause at the edge of that public space right before you go into that like social space, and you gesture, whether that be a wave, and you say your name. And then while you're approaching slowly, you want to have your hand out, shake hands. And when you shake hands, this is when you want to move into that hand under hand approach, which we'll talk about later. And then you'll get right beside them. You'll kind of have your forearm under there. You'll make sure you want to keep their hand on top. And then you kind of get to that, make sure you're getting to that eye level. You don't want to be standing up or too low, or if they're in a chair or something and you're standing up, you don't want them looking at your stomach or anything. You want to get to that eye level, respect that intimate space, and then kind of wait for acknowledgement before you move on to whatever you need to do. I just think this is going to be kind of your bread and butter on how to approach someone, just because, like I said, a person with dementia, that you get overstimulated. So many things are working hard. You're losing so much that by being able to do the pause, hey, my name is Drew, grab hand, move to the side, get to eye level, and then we're ready to brush our teeth, get dressed, eat breakfast, and you can just kind of wait until they're ready. So we'll move on into supportive and emotional communication. So what this kind of is that, again, people with dementia, they tend to get anxious, and they tend to get they're obviously always worried about something. They're always really close to like panic attacks and stuff like that. So what we'll talk about here is just the way you can be supportive, and then the way to work on that like emotional communication when they are feeling anxious and worried. And so for the supportive communication, this is stuff that you can also take, share with other caregivers, share with other family members, or share with somebody that doesn't even know the person at all. Really my goal for you all is to take stuff that you learn here and being able to advocate for yourself when they have to go someplace and be taken care of, because chances are there's going to be this aide that's not getting paid very much, and going to have to be taking care of your loved one. And that's why I really have such a big passion about it, because I want to be able to take all this information and keep moving it on. So again, that this topic isn't something that's so small, but becomes something that everyone knows about. So we'll start with the supportive communication. You want to make a connection. So you start off just offering your name, something simple. Hi, my name is Drew. And then you kind of move into offering your shared background. Oh, I'm from Kentucky. What about you? And then offer a positive comment. Oh, you look good in that shirt today. Just stuff like that to kind of help them. They're in this social construct of, oh, I'm just talking to an individual and making a friend. And then we'll move on to emotional communication. And this is where they're probably in a situation where, no, I don't want to do that today. And so when they're in this kind of like heightened mode, you don't want to be like, no, you need to do this. And you're tugging and fighting them and get back inside. It's cold out. You don't have a jacket. No, like you can't go home. You're already home. All these emotions that can fly out of somebody with dementia. You don't want to be fighting them. You want to validate their emotion. Oh, you're outside. You don't want to come in. You're worried. Make sure that you're able to let them know that, oh, I understand you're feeling this way. Second, just repeat back to them their emotions. Okay, you're feeling this emotion. Yes, I get it. You're feeling this emotion. Yes. And then lastly, just be on the lookout for their whole body. Observe their posture, their movements. What are they touching? What are they looking for? And we go back to the first session. They are not going to be able to tell you their needs. That's just something that they lose with dementia. So this is where kind of has to go back to be a detective. What are they? Why are they out? Why are they outside? Were they looking for the bathroom and they just went through this door and now they're outside and frustrated? You're almost kind of going to get creative usually. And then for all communication, if it's not working, if something that you're trying is causing it to get worse, stop, rethink, and then reapproach with something slightly different. And so two little tips that I kind of learned to do is that when you see an individual with dementia starting to get anxious, take them out of that environment, switch rooms. Usually when a person with dementia switches rooms, it kind of resets their brain a little bit because they were processing everything in that room, and then they leave it, and then they have to process so much more. It kind of gives them a little reset and gives you a little opportunity to kind of reapproach and maybe settle them down or get them to do what you wanted them to do. Another advantage is having two people. This can probably be more for like caregivers. Like a caregiver comes in trying to get them out of bed, or get angry at them. Another caregiver walks in, or another individual walks in. This person is trying to get me out of bed. I don't want to get up. And this is when what you kind of want to do here is you will kind of want to side with the person with dementia. Why are you trying to make them get up? This is silly. What are we doing here? Like, completely throw that other caregiver under the bus, because it kind of makes that connection. It kind of shows that they can trust you. Have that caregiver just step out for a second again, then reset and reapproach. Those are other little tactics that I've picked up along the way. I will share a small story real quick. There was this time where I was working with an individual with dementia. We were just sitting on his couch watching a baseball game, and he was sitting on the couch. I was sitting in a chair, and he kind of looked over at me, and you can kind of tell he was having this like moment of clarity, which kind of what sometimes happens with people with dementia. I'm not sure if it happens in people with Down syndrome and dementia, but they kind of get this moment of clarity for a second where they kind of like, they realize who they are. They realize what age they are, why is this man here trying to take care of me? And what he did is he got upset with me. He's like, why are you in my house? Get out of my house. And so what I did in that situation is I removed myself from the room. I kind of supervised from afar. I kind of let him wander around a little bit to kind of collect his thoughts. And then when I kind of saw that he was settled down a little bit, I then went back in, reapproached. Hey, it's your friend Drew. How are you doing today? And kind of made that connection as I told you. And we were able to sit back down and get back to the baseball game. So yeah, you're just gonna have to get creative at some points, and hopefully the tools that you learn tonight will be able to help you. And so as we learn all this, I just want to remind you, keep it simple. The simpler, the better. Use the visual and verbal cues. They go outside without a coat and it's freezing outside. Instead of, hey, put on this coat, and trying to get them to tug and pull and fight, kind of gesture, maybe, validate their emotion, understand, you're just outside. You don't need a coat. You're fine. Okay, well, and then what you should kind of do is go back inside, grab your coat, grab their coat, kind of just put your coat on in front of them, and then hopefully that kind of clicks with something. They'll kind of be curious. They'll grab their coat. They'll put it on after that. So just kind of use gestures, point them into, let's walk this way instead of trying to walk down the hill. Let's use the sidewalk here. Just simple reactions that kind of can get them back on track. Always acknowledge their response and reactions to information you're giving them. Make them feel that sense of self that they're going to want to feel. Again, limited words are always going to be better. Instead of trying to explain why they got it, you can't be outside because you're going to get cold. It's not, instead of just, hey, it's cold, come on, and hopefully that works as well. And then always just remember to wait, pause, and slow down. A person with dementia, again, they're overstimulated. They're trying to process so many things that like center engine that is in your head is just starting to break down. It's not working as well as it used to. So they need to kind of go at their own pace. So it's okay to just wait and pause and slow down when you need to. So now we'll get into that hand under hand approach. I'll start out by saying you got 5 fingers. Well, hopefully you all do. These 3 fingers right here are your skill fingers. And what your skill fingers do, you kind of know what they do. They twist bottles. They move your mouse on your computer. They help you write. They help you zip up your zipper. They do all these things. And then what these last 2 fingers are kind of your power, your grip fingers. They kind of help you gripping things. So these are like your fine motor fingers and then your gross motor fingers. They kind of put it simple. So once you get to a point where a caregiver needs to intervene with a physical touch, the positive approach to care teaches this hand under hand approach, where what it is this will be the person's hand with dementia, and then this is my hand. Again, this is another situation where I wish we were in person, but what you do is you go thumb to thumb and then palm to palm. And what that kind of does is kind of that sensation in the palm is just a calming feature for your nervous system. So that's going to help just establish those nerve pathways. This allows the person to feel in control, but what you're really doing is you're able to guide their movement in this position. You also have your skill fingers available with your hand under them when you're able to do things. This connects you to the person. It allows you to do something with the person than doing something to. This is important because, again, it's going to be able to give them that sense of self, even though that they do need help with things. And it helps connect hand to eye skills as well. So when using it, you want to help guide their movement. This is when you do the positive approach or positive physical approach. You get to their side, and I should note what you always, when you do the physical positive approach, sorry, so many positives and everything, you want to be on that person's dominant side, because all of those nerves from their dominant side are going to be, you're just going to have a better shot with that hand than their non-dominant hand. And so that's just going to help with eye contact. Remember, that's the importance of being in that eyesight vision. Don't be trying to have their hand here and they're looking at like your stomach. Like, get down on their level, get eye to eye, and that hopefully that provides with whatever they need to do. I know with some people with dementia that I've worked with, I had this one guy, he just, once you got his hand up with his toothbrush in it, once he got to like right around here, like, oh, I'm brushing my teeth. And he would just start brushing his teeth by himself. Again, so sometimes they just need that little kickstart to where, like, oh, this is what we're doing. Let's send the toothbrushing nerves down the hand, and let's get it going. And they're able to do
it. Hey, Drew, can you show the position of your hands again?
Sorry. So it's thumb to thumb and then palm to palm.
Okay. Palm to palm.
So their hand is going to always be on top. You'll have your other hand free. So if they need, sometimes it's comforting for them to put that other hand on top. But just have that thumb to thumb and palm to palm, and then you're able to have your kind of skill fingers ready if you need them. Also, you have the other hand available as well, but you want to be able to just let them do as much as they can, and then help out with what they can.
If I'm right-handed and Ricky's left-handed, should I be using my left hand in his left hand, or my right hand in his left hand?
This is where
I'm just trying to figure this out here, because his dominant would be left.
Yeah, so you can use you would use whatever hand would fit in his dominant hand to kind of help out.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So that's again why I wish we kind of were in person, but Zoom has to work, but we'll make it work. So we'll move on to the GEM model. I did go a slide too early. Here we go. So the GEM model was created by Teepa Snow, and it was based off the Allen cognitive levels, which is an occupational therapy theory about brain function, and that had 7 different levels. The GEM model has 6. What I really love about the GEM model, it was in the original video that I saw, but the way Teepa kind of explains it is that every person is this gem, and they just need the right support and the right care, and they're able to shine. And it just helps you get this perspective that, oh, we're going to help this person use what they have left instead of thinking about what they've lost. And so what it does, it creates this common approach in providing environmental support, caregiver support, queuing strategies, and promotes graded task modification, so making things easier for someone as things get more difficult. So each gem will require different settings and just right care. That just right care is a very OT term. We want to be able to provide the right amount of care to make somebody be able to engage in their daily activities. And so I put the GEM model versus the 3 stages of dementia. If you're not familiar with the 3 stages of dementia, they kind of just do the early, middle, and late. What I like about the GEM model is you're able to see the way the different gems kind of describe each brain function as it goes through the gems. And with the GEM model, a person's able to bounce back from gem to gem. So sometimes we'll get into it in a minute, but sometimes a person can start at the sapphire and move to the diamond at some point. So they can be an amber or an emerald, but then move back to what they usually are. So it provides more flexibility than what the 3 stages of dementia does, which just lists a bunch of things that they are losing and says that they're in this stage and then this stage and then this stage. So we'll get right into it. So you have your sapphire, which is the true blue brain. It's slower but fine. These people can be flexible. They can, like, stress can trigger them into going into that diamond stage, but with relief they can move back into that sapphire. So that's kind of an example of how you're able to jump through gems. And then excuse me. And then these people are able to select from options and make informed decisions, and they're also able to suppress and control themselves as well. So we move into diamonds. Think of like what a diamond is. It's clear, it's sharp, it's rigid. It does not like these people do not like change. Their behavior and perspectives can shift. They can hurt you just because they're in this stage where something's wrong. They're fine. They don't care. They're doing what they need. They see their wants as needs. They start to need repetition and time to absorb new routines, and they usually tend to react better when the respect is mutual. And then we'll move into emeralds. So kind of things are starting to change. This is kind of the emerald or the gem where it's identified that they have dementia. Green means go, but we'll go where these people, they see self as able to be independent, but they have limited awareness. Their awareness of time and place might not match very well. They also seek guidance and assistance to kind of like fill a day. And then we'll move on to amber. Amber is focused on sensation. They're caught in this moment of time. This is about sensation. Do they like it? Do they not like it? These ambers, they don't have any safety awareness. They also have trouble sleeping. This kind of gem, this is where they need the most care, but they're still so aware of themselves that they'll refuse care. So this gem kind of refuses care the most because they need so much help, but they're also, their sense of self is still there where they don't think they need it. So again, that goes off that they just have no safety awareness. And then so we move into ruby. Red means stop. We're at a stop. They start to lose fine motor skills. So they lose those. They don't actually lose the 3 fingers, but they lose those skills of those 3 fingers. they have trouble figuring things out visually, but they still have that rhythm in music. If you play a song, they'll hum along. These once they're in this stage, they have trouble initiating things. You can't really get them to do things. They also have trouble letting go of things because they have that big movement, gross motor stuff left. The fine motor stuff is just all gone. And then pearl, think of a pearl. What's a pearl in? A pearl is in this oyster. It's in this ugly little sea creature thing that kind of, if you think about it, like that's what kind of the body has become, but with the right care and the right setting, it can open up, and this beautiful pearl is able to shine. When they're at this stage, they can just recognize familiar voices and touch. They start to lose the big abilities, such as their reflexes. Change in the body is they can weight loss. They become immobile at this gem. So this is kind of like that end gem. But again, what I like what the gem model does so well is that it does focus on that this person is something special. It just needs the right care and the right support to just be this beautiful, beautiful thing. Yeah. So we'll move into specific situations. This is from the National Down Syndrome Society's Alzheimer's Down Syndrome Guidebook. These are just a couple. We'll go through a couple things that they just highlighted. So for swallowing and eating, always allow more time for eating. More so provide finger food that's easy to pick up. Always provide smaller portions for food, and do that more frequently during the day. A person with dementia, if they see this big plate of food, again, they're going to get so overwhelmed by it that they're just going to be turned off by it. They're not going to eat it. Excuse me, I got to take a drink of water. Sorry about that. But a person with dementia is not going to want to eat this big plate of food. Cut it up, serve it in different smaller portions so they're able to process it easier and kind of get through it easier as well. Always look for the changes in a swallowing ability, whether that be coughing or gagging or eating or aspirating as well. And if that does happen, seek out your healthcare provider if you notice any changes on that. For incontinence, always provide verbal cues for reminders to use the bathroom. Mark the bathroom doors with something familiar to a person. I really like that one. I really like that one in general as well. I worked with this one patient who we had signs all around his house where the kitchen arrow that way, bed arrow that way, bathroom arrow that way, and that helped him out a lot. With most people with dementia, if they're in those early gems, they just can't find the bathroom. But once they get to the bathroom, they do pretty well. And then obviously if the individual loses independence, take them to the bathroom every 2 or 3 hours while they're awake to kind of help avoid any accidents. Always check for soiled sheets or wet bedclothes. Just that area, the soiled sheets, and if they're wet at night, that can lead to breakdown of skin. The breakdown of skin leads into infection, so always just be on the lookout for that. And then aim to limit fluids before bed. I would say about an hour or two before. And then for possible seizure activities, observe for any signs of involuntary jerking or arms of legs, rigid posturing or stiffening of the body, or loss of consciousness. Always look out for if they have like an unexplained or unwitnessed fall that occurred. Just be aware of that. Also, if they do have a situation like this, provide as much detail as you can, and so that when you do contact a healthcare provider, you're able to kind of advocate for yourself. Be like, this is what happened, this is what they were doing, this, and just as much detail just so that they're able to get a better grip of the situation as well. A few more for gait and balance difficulties: offer or provide assistance in unfamiliar areas, just uneven grounds, curbs, stairs, or uneven terrain. They always need help with that. provide adequate lighting, especially at night, kind of have like a night light out as well if they do get up and wander around. Use sturdy and supporting footwear, no like slippers or anything, something that definitely can stick to the floor. And then just watch out for any oversized clothing or anything that they can like fall over or trip over. And then obviously get help if you think they need like an assistive device. And then keep everything well lit and free of clutter. If you have any throw rugs, pick up those and other tripping hazards as well. And then to enhance physical health and well-being, avoid any preventable illnesses. One thing I will say here that I want to highlight is provide adequate nutrition, aiming to keep weight in a stable, healthy range. A lot of people with dementia, even for hydration as well, they just forget to drink things and they forget to eat things. And that can just, your body needs food and fluids to function. So that's just a very simple thing that, again, they can't tell you their needs. So they're going to forget about these things. And that's just something to always work on. And like I stated earlier, just trying to preserve healthy skin integrity. Skin is your first defense for infection. So just keep that in mind as well. Now we'll move into our last slide, which is the caregiver burnout. I just have a definition here. It states that a physical, emotional, and mental exhaustion may be accompanied by a change in attitude from positive and caring to negative and unconcerned. Burnout can occur when a caregiver doesn't get the help that they need, or they try and do more than they're able to physically or financially. I will take this moment just to say, like, if you guys are struggling with anything, I would like, if you just need an ear to talk to or something, my door is always open. Just reach out. Don't be afraid. And then also just a few tips from the book. Just make sure you take care of yourself. If you can't take care of other people if you're not taking care of yourself. And I know that's hard to do. Just with building of your skills, it helps in supporting and caregiving. So hopefully the stuff that you learned tonight, you are able to take home and able to have a smoother transition in things, or be able to think about things in a different way. That will kind of help you and your loved one be successful in a situation. Set limits for yourself, practice good self-care, remain socially engaged, and then obviously create a social network, which is also a goal of this group as well, just to be able to bounce ideas off each other and need help in general as well. So that concludes tonight's presentation. I'll do a quick note about the next meeting, which will be 2 weeks from now on March 8th at 6 p.m. And I will send out the link. That will be about the ability to find resources or care for the late stage, or also just in general, and also just what the late stage of dementia looks like, how to go through that as well. So that is the end of